And here's the thing: you can't really say tariffs were inflationary while inflation was going down under Trump's and tariffs. So it is kind of funny how that is that works. And it's kind of funny that, well, think about it. We actually head down to 2.4%, and we were under inflation. We're not under inflation. We was under tariffs the entire time. So a lot of people really don't understand how tariffs work. And the problem is with their logic is that, okay, so if we can't tax the rich and it's just going to be passed down to us, then okay, well, what about corporate tax, raising that? That can get passed down to us as well. And the Democrats' logic falls apart when you mention that, okay, well, then any tax you impose on the rich can get passed down to us, because any tax would incur a cost on them, which can get passed down to us. So what you're saying is that, well, Republicans tax anybody. Oh, you're taxing consumers. You guys tax them. Okay, we're making them pay their fair share. It's like, come on now, guys. Which is it? Like, does all taxes get passed down to the consumer, or just tariffs? And if you say it's just tariffs, then you're wrong. I know you ain't gonna say something that dumb.
Conflict in Iran remains top of mind for the American people.
I don't think the Iranian regime has ever faced a president like President Trump, which is someone that actually takes action. You know, they got used to for 20 or 30 years, not just the U.S., but the broader world, allowing them to get away.
No, I ain't gonna lie, though. They do be like spazzing out in the chat, though. Isn't that crazy? It's like, I keep it pretty fair, though. I do keep it pretty fair. And I always do say, like, come on, Galactic, you should know better. Tariffs is a tax on the consumers. Done any tax is a tax on the consumer. And like I said, if you understand tariffs, it go automatically to the consumer. That all depends on the market and the competition in that market, or market saturation. So a lot of people don't even understand basic economics to really understand how tariffs work. And here's the thing: if you're saying it's a tax on the consumer, then any expense put on them by the government could get pushed down to the consumer. Any tax that you guys want to put on them for their wealth as well. Oh, we'll give them a wealth tax. All right, what if they pass that down to the consumer? Raise corporate tax, pass it down to the consumer. Raise property tax. They could pass that down to the consumer. Like, do you see where y'all logic falls apart at this point? But shout out to my man Jet. He says the left in the chat, quiet. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. He said the left in the chat, quiet, acting like if it's a Democrat was doing it, the exact same thing Trump is doing right now, y'all would be praising it. All worse than MAGA is now. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna always call it out. Like the fact that, I mean, if this was Kamala Harris doing these ICE raids, you guys wouldn't be complaining. If it was MAGA out there, pretty much, you know, what was it? Doxing ICE officers, trying to get their family harassed. And like I said, if this was all under Kamala Harris, you guys will support ICE wearing masks. The problem is who's doing it. That's the problem. It's like me, I don't care if it was Kamala Harris or Trump. If they're enforcing internal immigration, I'd have been supporting it because I'm all for it. The problem is, though, I'm not going to be for people just dying because of it, because they didn't commit a violent crime and they don't deserve to die or deserve to be getting handled so roughly. I mean, I'm going to give you guys that, but still, we do need internal immigration to be done. But shout out to my man Jet, though. You deserve a celebration. And guys, put y'all money where your mouth is. If you disagree with me, please super chat it in.
Raise a blade.
And that's so funny, though. It's like, and here's the thing, though. A lot of people don't even understand their own arguments. Like, what was I think somebody in the chat said, you support racial profiling? Bro, it's the Supreme Court supports racial profiling. It was a Supreme Court thing. And guess what? It's not my fault that most of these guys are Hispanic. Not my fault that most of the undocumented immigrants are Hispanic. So if you're going to meet an undocumented immigrant, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be some Hispanic guy who don't know English. It's like, sorry, but that's just the fact of the matter there. You could cry about it, but it is what it is. Don't be so emotional.
Away with things like lying, breaking deals, tricking people into agreements and so forth. In this particular case, they're pretty straightforward.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and quit on ICE. Let's get into our guy, Marco Rubio.
And we're back with more of our exclusive sit-down with Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
All right, guess y'all gonna keep me on ICE. He said the media don't villainize ICE when it's a Dem president. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? And like I'm saying, it is irritating. It is quite irritating. It's like, guys, you know, if this was all being done under Kamala, you guys would be supporting this. But because it's Trump, oh my God, this is so bad. But I'm just be real with you. But let's be real. I mean, Kamala wouldn't even commit to immigration enforcement. And he says manufacturing, he said U.S. manufacturing jobs are down 75K, Trump's second term. Well, like I said, manufacturing jobs are down, but I said there's a lot of manufacturing projects that are starting across the U.S. Like, remember, I didn't say that manufacturing jobs are up. No, no, no. I wouldn't lie to you like that. I said there's a lot of manufacturing projects popping up across the Middle East. So you are going to see a manufacturing surge around, well, probably by the end of 2027, mid 2027, but by 2028. So that's what a lot of people also got to understand. It's not about the jobs numbers now, it's about the jobs numbers in the future. If we can even get to that, because this Iran war could ruin all future investments, by the way. Like, let's also recognize that.
As the ongoing conflict in Iran remains top of mind for the American people.
I don't think
hold on now, but we're going to get into this video eventually, but shout out to my man Jet and Galactic. I appreciate the support, guys. All right, guys, don't forget to double tap that screen and let's go ahead and get right into it. And this is pretty much what I was like talking about here. All right, guys, shout out to these guys. You can always look these guys up as well. Industrial Select, but I went ahead and broke it down here in ChatGPT. But let's see here, major new expanding factories in the last month. And I did this all the way back in November 2025, guys. So remember, in bio pharmacy and life science, we got AstraZeneca, new manufacturing plant campus in Maryland. You guys, Novartis manufacturing hub, Research Triangle in North Carolina. I mean, and then we got food and consumer products. We got Pilgrim, $400 million prepared foods plant in Georgia. So, I mean, we through semiconductors for solar, AI-enabled solar module mega factory in Louisiana. I mean, there's a whole lot of them. I mean, what? Form factor, advanced semiconductor testing, Texas. What was it? $140 million advanced manufacturing facility. So no, you can go down the list. These are all manufacturing projects popping off, like through across the board, like bio industry and new industries, like Biomade, Iowa State, 400 million bio manufacturing pilot plant in Iowa, across the board, guys. So, and these are all projects that's going to really start popping off, probably, like I said, mainly into 2027, mid 2027. So the manufacturing is coming. The problem is, though, manufacturing jobs are down. Just what's going on.
The Iranian regime has ever faced a president like President Trump, which is someone that actually takes action. You know, they got used to for 20 or 30 years, not just the U.S., but the broader world, allowing them to get away with things like lying, breaking deals, tricking people into agreements and so forth. In this particular case, they're pretty straightforward. Iran wants a nuclear weapon. And they were building a conventional missile shield they were going to hide behind. In essence, they wanted to be in a position a year and a half from now to be able to say, we have so many drones and so many missiles, you can't possibly defend against them. That's the place they wanted to get to. President Trump said, I'm not going to let you get to that place.
You know how wild that is to pretty much just say, oh, well, they have a deterrent, so that's bad. Like, yeah, them having a deterrent is evil. I mean, don't every country have a deterrent? Like, isn't the only way to, protect your sovereignty as a country is to have deterrent so people just don't attack you or think that attacking you comes with no consequences? Like, do you hear you say Marco Rubio? Because he literally just said, oh, yes, it's bad for Iran to have any type of deterrent. And they created this deterrent to make sure that nobody can overthrow them, just like every other country. Okay.
And he went after, wiped out their Navy, wiped out their Air Force, wiped out their missile defenses, wiped out their launchers, wiped out their factories that make all of these things, and severely degraded their defense capabilities. Now, they still have missiles and they still have drones and they can still do damage, but they no longer have that shield, that conventional shield that they could hide behind. And that's changed the whole dynamic. It's the only reason why they are now willing, and in some cases seem eager, to do a deal on denuclearization, to do a deal on the Straits. Because we're now approaching them from a position of strength, not from a position of weakness, which is what they perceived from previous administrations and frankly from the world writ large.
The regime change has never been the goal, though. As you say, it has been denuclearization. Bro. Can you have one without the other, though?
I think what does the regime
I'm sorry, it was regime change, but they just saw that it did not work. Because, I'm sorry, but how you going to go out there and kill the supreme leader, kill all the top of the IRGC and all the top guys, and then talk about, oh yeah, Iranian people, come out and reclaim your institutions, take the institutions, take back the country. Well, then what the fuck was that? Like, that sounds like you were pushing for regime change right there, bro. You were pushing for the overthrowing of the IRGC, and it didn't happen. So now you want to backtrack and be like, oh no, it wasn't about regime change. No, we just killed the leader and damn near all the leadership for no reason. Okay.
Has to change. You may not have regime change, but the regime has to change. The Iranian regime traditionally has been expeditionary. In essence, their view is they don't want to just govern Iran, they want to govern the region. They want to export their revolution. That does have to change. And the only way you're going to change that is if you make the price of it too high for them to be able to pay.
The fact that so many of these Gulf Arab nations have all kind of aligned against Iran, that must be important.
I would say two things about the Middle East and the Gulf Kingdom. I think they always understood who Iran was and the threat they posed. That threat has now become reality. They have now seen Iranian drones and Iranian missiles launched into their cities. And
I mean, here's a problem though. Is like Iran pretty much told us that, yeah, if you guys attack us, we're going to start attacking all of your bases and all of your allies in the region who host your bases. I mean, isn't that kind of crazy just how... Isn't that kind of crazy how they're just sitting there like, oh, I'm shocked Iran's able to reach us in the region. Like, yeah. Oh, I'm shocked Iran's attacking us. Yeah, because you host American bases that that we're attacking them from. I mean, surprise, surprise, guys. And it's kind of crazy how we're trying to frame it as, oh, well, you see how radical and crazy Iran is? I mean, like, here's the thing. Iran did this out of nowhere. For sure, we see how radical and crazy they are. But when they're doing it from a response from us attacking them, then not so much. But we do hate that they're doing it, though. Don't get it wrong. I hate that they're doing it, but I get it. Shout out to my man Jet. He said that was the most half regime change I've ever seen, bro. Most half-ass regime change I've ever seen, bro. Same here. I'm just like, so you just took out the leader and a couple of the other guys. You took out the moderates who are willing to actually give up their nuclear enrichment. And now we got a whole bunch of hardliners who's not willing to give up their nuclear enrichment, who says they're not going softly into the night, and who's pretty much refusing to give up control of the strait. I don't know, man. Kind of sounds like we just bombed ourselves into dealing with the hardliners. And I know we don't want to negotiate with terrorists, but sadly, we might negotiate with these damn terrorists. It'd be like that.
Against their energy infrastructure. The other thing that's changed is I think you're going to see more and more energy diversifying outside of the Straits of Hormuz. Because from a geographic standpoint, Iran will always be on the Straits, whether they're governed by this regime or a future government. But that's going to be two permanent features that are going to emerge from this. You're going to see the realignment of how energy flows, less reliant on the Straits of Hormuz, and you're going to see countries in the region that are no longer now understand that Iran is no longer a theoretical threat. As long as this clerical regime remains in place, they are a real threat, and a direct threat to their, not just their economic interests, but their security interests.
So I'm not going for you. So you're going to say that we're not going for a regime change while hyper focusing on how this regime can't stay in power. The Ayatollah, the radical clerics that pretty much control this regime. Yeah, they just can't stay in power. But, oh, no, we're not pushing regime change. No, that's not what we're going for at all. I swear to God, bro, they be thinking we stupid or something. It's like, okay, bro, okay, whatever you say.
Well, President Trump says he is going to confront Vladimir Putin regarding reports that Russia helped Iran target U.S. bases. How much does that relationship concern you?
With Russia?
Between Russia and Iran.
Look, unfortunately, I think you'll find in the world that there are countries, or at least companies within countries, that work with adversaries of ours. And when we identify it, we raise it. And in some cases, very successfully. Nothing we have wanted to do in the Middle East, none of the actions we've taken, none of our successes have in any way been impeded by anything that any other country in the world did against us. There are things that might be irritants. There are things that might be concerning. But there is nothing any other country is doing that an
AKA, I'm not going to address the fact that China and Russia are sending Iran probably missile components, drone components, probably actually whole ass missiles, and also send them satellite images of our missile and of our bases. Yeah, and also of any intelligence installations that we got out throughout the Middle East. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore all that. Why? And I'm also going to lie about it as well. Why? Because we can't do shit about it. It's like that. Look, bro, it's like what they're doing with aliens. It's like, guys, You want to know why we kind of just ignore the fact about aliens? Because we can't do shit about it. So just like we can't do shit about China or Russia helping out Iran, we're just going to ignore it, lie about it, and tell you that's not happening.
Anyway, is standing in the way of us achieving the things we want to achieve or the objectives we want.
Just to finish with the situation in Russia and Ukraine, is there anything at this point that the U.S. can realistically do to help bring talks together, bring this to an end?
The president has made very clear the United States can play a role in bringing about an end to that war. We're going to continue to explore it. We spent a lot of time on it in the first year. There came a point where it got to like a stalemate, but we always stood willing and ready to play a constructive role. We're the only country in the world, and President Trump's the only leader in the world that can bring the Russian side and the Ukrainian side to begin to talk about how you end it. The reality is that dynamics have changed just a little bit in that conflict over the last few months. The Ukrainians now are able to conduct long-range strikes deep into Russia, bringing the war to the Russian people. What we are willing to explore is whether that new dynamic has in any way opened the door.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. And if you got any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, go ahead and super chat it in. Appreciate the support so far, guys. And make sure, like I said, you double tap that screen and subscribe to the channel, especially if you've been watching longer than 10 minutes.
Some negotiated settlement. I know you're going to see some efforts over the next few weeks to see if we can't restart talks between the two sides and bring this war to an end. But we also understand that both sides have some pretty strong red lines. And until we can bring those red lines a little closer together, we're not going to be there yet. But we're ready to go. And the president's told his team, if you see an opportunity to be a force that brings about some momentum behind peace talks, let's do it. So he always prefers diplomacy over war and peace over combat.
Americans have seen so many versions of you, I think. We know Senator Rubio, we know candidate Rubio, now Secretary Rubio. Have you changed throughout the course?
Bro, what was it? Secretary of State Rubio, National Security Advisor Rubio. Yeah. And then, the last one. Secret ruler of Venezuela, Rubio.
Course of all of these different kind of phases of your life, and how do you think the American people's perception of you has changed? Because you are memes everywhere. I think everybody loves to see all the different sides of you.
Well, the meme thing, was interesting because when it first came out, I hated that picture, because what happened is in that couch.
When you first came out, you also hated the president. But you know what, actually, let's go into that. Let's have a nice little, I do have a nice little clip for you. Let's have a nice little recap. Like, remember the time? Remember the Trump hate, guys? You remember when it was just all a unification in the Republican Party?
Trump is a really bad candidate, and frankly, I think a really bad person.
The simple fact is, he's the best president of my lifetime.
And you know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell.
To President Trump, you saved the world. God bless you.
And Donald is indicating the fear that keeps him up at night when he lashes out with anger. Donald, you're a sniveling coward.
What I like best about President Trump is his courage and fearlessness.
There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well.
Trump is a really bad candidate.
Ah, man. Tough.
If you don't have a pillow behind your back, you kind of sink. So I looked at the pictures. Oh, this is terrible. I looked, like whatever. And then it turned into this other thing. And it was fine. And it's funny. I don't really follow it very closely, but people have shown me pictures out there. We have a good friend here that works at the White House, Dan Scavino, made a nice board for me. And even since he made that board, we had to update it. So of all the different pictures. So that stuff is funny. You asked me if you've changed. I think everybody, you go through life, right? And as you go through life, you learn new things. You see things you hadn't seen before. You hear things you haven't heard before. Certainly, I'm a different person at 55 than I was at 25 or even 35 because I have 20 and 30 years of experience in between in life and in work that inform that. I think at your core, you always want to remain the same person, though, right? And that is, what are your priorities in life and what are the values that sort of drive you to do what you do? And I hope that hasn't changed. And by the way, the world changes too. There are things that are true today that weren't true 10 years ago. So, I think that's true for all of us, not just me.
I feel like you've been busier than ever. You've been traveling all over the place, but you're doing all of that while being a husband, while being a father. maybe talk about how that is, because I know for every kind of working parent out there, working spouse, it's hard to take time, but I'm sure your family keeps you very grounded.
It is. And I'm in an interesting season in life. For most of my time in public service, I had very young children or children that were still growing up. Now, all 4 of my children are adults. My youngest graduated high school this year. I have a 26-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 21-year-old, and an 18-year-old. So they have lives. They don't just have, when you're 15 or 16, you have opinions. When you get to 20, 24, 26, you have lives and you have stuff going on. I still look back at the times that they were young and wish I could have one more day with them when they were little. But you also appreciate the moment you live in. And then as far as being a husband, I think what's happened is because your kids are a little older and they have more time doing their own things, whether they're school or career, you spend more time with you almost like get back to where you were when you first started dating in some ways. So you get to spend more time with my wife and sort of rediscover. So it's the second phase of that relationship, I guess, after all these years. So it's an interesting season in life that I think we're mixing with what we're doing here now and find it pretty fulfilling and pretty happy.
Well, when you go home, I'm curious, what is the first thing you do when Marco Rubio gets home? Do you sleep? What happens?
No, not when I get home and I go right to sleep. Of course not. It's usually if you can, you really can't in this job, and you certainly can't working for this administration and this president who never stops working. But I think it is good to try to disconnect for some period of time and from your job or from your work. It could be watching a sporting event. It could be watching a movie, but just anything that allows you to sort of.
Oh my, yeah, go out there and go watch you some goy slop. No, ignore all your problems. Ignore the failing economy. Ignore all that, guys. Just go enjoy you some good old goy slop. And don't mind that the goy slop is overpriced. That's just part of the golden age that Trump is talking about, right? Right. But all right, though, let's get into the next video here. All right, one more video of Fox News, and then we're going to get off these guys. I know, but it's okay. You'll be all right.
Is underway into cyber attacks at water systems in at least 7 states, including Minnesota. Some utilities now forced to switch over to manual operations. But President Trump is rejecting the idea that Iranian hackers are behind these attacks. The president is blaming instead Minnesota and its governor, Tim Walz, despite federal agencies days ago warning that Iranian hackers were targeting the same kinds of systems.
We'll talk about nuclear. And we'll be in there talking about nuclear for 7 hours. I say, what do you need 7? You can take 10 minutes. You have 5 minutes. He said, so, but 7 hours. And then they'll go out and I'll say, they discuss nuclear. And they'll go out and they'll say, we never discussed nuclear. And I say, why do they say that? All they do is make me angry. It just make me angry.
President Trump there reportedly ordering a fresh round of strikes on Iran that could start as soon as today or tomorrow. For more, let's bring in House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford. Chairman, thank you.
Now, as I discussed earlier, he did chicken out of all right, yeah, he did chicken out of these strikes. Okay, he chickened out. He tacoed. And I hate using that line, but yeah, Trump definitely tacoed on that one. He pulled back because Iran pretty much sent a threatening video. You know what? Let's go over to that threatening video again, since we are more into the show here. So this is pretty much the threatening video that, the Iranian media came out with. And this pretty much is echoing what the IRGC is saying. And they're saying, if you commit to this crazy strike on us, we try striking power plants, bridges, and all that good stuff, we're going to shut the whole Middle East down. And by that, I'll let you see the video. I mean, they shows what they mean pretty damn well. Well, I don't know about that. It's that retaliation that we were afraid of. Back to the Stone Age retaliation. And it's kind of wild where they're going with this. They're pretty much saying like, okay, great, you hit us, we're just going to start attacking spots around the Middle East. Let's see here. Where they say about the strike? Ah, yes, Oraton Rabban power station in Israel. So yeah, they're actually going to say, they're saying, look, we haven't been striking Israel lately, but we will now. Or global aluminum. Yeah, they're threatening to take out the global aluminum. I mean, in the Emirates, that is a bit fucked. And then, of course, the Dubai International Airport. So all you guys who should have got the hell out of Dubai, I mean, bro, that's not even about to be an option. We might have to get you through helicopter lift, and that is going to be dead. Qatar and Kuwait. That's a red line. Armor struggle. I ain't gonna lie though, the Arab guy cooking him an egg on an effed up solar panel is hilarious. I'll be real with you. Damn, Islamic Arab Awakening. That's what they want. I mean, yeah, they do want to overthrow the well, let me be real with you, the Sunni monarch countries. So of course they want to overthrow Qatar. They're okay with a Qatar, but let's be real, they don't really like I mean, they're okay with Qatar, but let's be real, they're not okay with the whole monarchy thing. They definitely don't like the UAE. They definitely don't like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and Bahrain. So they could bite the dust. If anybody gets spared, it'd probably be Qatar. But even Qatar might get overthrown. And you got to realize these are Sunni monarchs ruling over Shia majorities. So if these Sunni monarchs don't got their wealth no more because all of their power plants and their oil refineries have been destroyed, I mean, then they're cooked. And the takeover is just going to be oh so easy. And the hands of the Middle East and the entire Middle East is going to be damn near controlled by Iran. And if Iran takes off with their whole little geothermal power plants and start expanding those, they might be able to provide power for the Middle East without the need of oil, sadly. I know, right? Crazy reality. And they say, don't play with fire. Shout out. He said, so this is what James Gunn has been doing since his DC movie been flopping left and right recently. Okay, guys. Well, damn, Jet. Way to go for the juggler. And shout out to my man, Jet. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get right back into it, guys. You have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements? Go ahead and super chat it in, and also make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You bet.
I want to ask you about what we might see happen over this weekend. We are waiting to find out if strikes are imminent. What do you think the president should do with Iran?
Well, I think he should finish the job, quite frankly. I think what we see here is he has given them tremendous leash, diplomatically speaking. And it's been met with, complete disrespect. As you heard him say, he talks about nuclear disarmament, and then they come out and say, we never discussed nuclear disarmament. Mm-hmm. I believe that President Trump has given them every opportunity diplomatically to resolve this issue, and they refuse. So there's really nothing more to do. I think that, the red lines have been crossed. He's given them every opportunity, and they're showing no willingness to do it. So I support the kinetic action that's being undertaken now.
There's also this idea that potentially striking them hard in one big wave would do us better, especially because there's these reports out, I'm sure you've seen, of our defense missile capabilities, a shortage of those stockpiles when it comes to the THAADs and the Patriot missiles. This is a Wall Street Journal op-ed I want to read to you here. They write, if the U.S. really is running out of missiles and interceptors, that should be a 5-alarm fire. Mr. Trump should be calling on Congress to skip its recess and do something about it immediately. But if the missile gap is being floated for political purposes by officials who want Mr. Trump to stand down, then the president should banish those voices from the Situation Room.
So, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. It is a bit wild. Trump is kicking out any voice that's giving him the real on the missile situation that I've been telling you guys for a while now. That, we don't got enough missiles to keep on going. And the amount of missiles we've used in about, a week, it takes us about 1.5 years to replenish. So we do got a problem there. And then we also got military officials going like, okay, look, Trump, I'm not even gonna lie to you. You might want to pull back on this because if you start this off, we won't be able to protect Israel, and we're just going to have to make sure we're focusing on the American border because, America over everything. Right, Mr. Trump? I'm hoping that's where you're going with this, because if you're saying a crash out over Israel no matter what, man, you sound a bit wild. But, yeah, we're pretty much telling Israel that, we might have to back off protecting you because we just don't got enough. And, Ukraine, we can't even send you anything, so y'all just going to have to deal with Russia on your own. Or you can always end the war.
Are we looking at a missile shortage here, sir?
Well, I think magazine depth is always a topic of conversation, whether it's ours or theirs. And that's fair. That's a fair subject to address. But I do think there are some folks that may raise this for political reasons as ammunition to essentially say we don't need to be involved in Iran. And the fact is that this has gone on for 47 plus years. It's time that it's resolved. Iran has used the Strait of Hormuz as leverage to be able to develop weapons of mass destruction. Potentially, we know they've developed ballistic missiles with a pretty extensive reach and range. And they've done that behind their ability to be able to leverage the Strait of Hormuz.
The worst part about it is that we didn't even know, I knew, but a lot of Americans didn't even know they had hypersonic missiles or the cluster missiles. Like, we keep getting surprised by Iran's capability, and that's what was pissing me off. It's just like, how are y'all surprised they have hypersonic missiles? How are you guys surprised they're able to get through our defense system? It's like, let's be real, they've been preparing for this for a minute now. And of course, like, the way war has been developing has been turning towards the missiles and drones that are turning out to be the ultimate deterrent. Like, they don't even need to nuke the way they're able to shut down the Middle East. So, like, let's just keep it real about that. But yeah, we did a lot of underestimating of our enemy on this one.
To their own effect. So that's a red line that's been crossed. We also know that they've had nuclear ambitions for quite some time. No secret there. That has been crossed. This is
how has that line been crossed? They haven't reached past that 60%, or it was the line, 60%, because they've been at 60% since 2021. So, like, please tell me when was the line crossed?
Unfortunate as this is, the time has come, and the president that's willing to address it is sitting in the Oval Office right now. And I applaud his efforts to try to.
Guys, if you've got any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements for me, you could always super chat it in. Like, put your money where your mouth is, or hold your piece in the chat. It's like, it is what it is. Look, I know what I'm saying hurts your feelings, but you will be okay. I know it's breaking your heart. I know it's breaking the propaganda that you've been fed, but, like, bro, come on now. Like, it's pretty obvious what's going on here. And you can look up pretty much everything I'm telling you.
Resolve this peacefully, but they seem unwilling to listen to any peaceful opportunities.
Okay, I want to also ask you about these reports that China is potentially supplying weapons to Iran. China has denied this. This is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent this week, confident that China is not selling weapons to Iran. But here's what he said about what would happen if they were. Watch.
If there were a proven delivery of Manpad's solar-powered rockets, that would be very problematic. I think that